The numbers that we have, that we use in mathematics, they are called altogether real numbers. Okay? You must start copying it down. We call them real numbers. The real numbers, they are divided into two main categories. Can someone tell what are these what are these two categories? Hmm? Does anyone know it? Hmm? Whole number? क्यों भाई?
Odd and even.
Odd and even. अच्छा. And anyone else? क्यों भाई Huzafa? What do you think? Hmm?
Positive and negative numbers?
Negative numbers. Okay. These numbers, the real numbers, are divided into two types. One, rational numbers. Okay. And second, the irrational numbers. Okay. The irrational numbers. Okay. The rational numbers and the irrational numbers. Okay. First, I would like to talk about the irrational numbers, and then we'll go back to the uh, rational numbers. Okay. Now, the irrational numbers are, we have talked about this in detail. These are the numbers which do not have an exact value, like you have the square root of 2, the square root of 3, okay, the square root of 5. In general, the square roots of non-square numbers, the square roots of non-square numbers, even the cube roots of non-cube numbers, like the cube root of 2 or the cube root of 6. These are irrational numbers. There are some very famous irrational numbers, like pi is a very famous irrational number. Similarly, there is another irrational number which is e. Okay. I should tell you, like, I these days I'm looking for an 11th teacher, a teacher for grade 11, a maths teacher. So I was interviewing a teacher yesterday. So I asked him that what does he know about the irrational numbers. So he was saying that 1 over 3 is an irrational number, because if you divide it, you get, like, this point 3 3 3 recurring. So some people think that if there is a recurring decimal, so that is an irrational number. You see, this is already a rational number. The word rational comes from ratio. Okay, if you see a number which is written as a ratio of two integers, then it is called a rational number. Okay, so 1 over 3 is a rational number. Similarly, this 22 over 7 is also a rational number. But you see that pi and 22 over 7, people normally think that they are both equal to each other, but they are not. Okay. Okay. uh okay, so pi is an irrational number, and 22 over 7 is a rational number. Whenever you have a recurring decimal, and obviously this is a rational number, there will always be a pattern being followed. Remember, I showed you, if I find here the calculator. Yeah. Okay, just see that, if you, for example, if you see this 22 divided by 7, see its value. You see, this is your, this is, oh, sorry, I divided, where did I divide? I think I divided 222. Let me correct this. Okay, this should be basically 22 divided by 7. So you see, this is 22 divided by 7. You see that there is a pattern being recurring from this. Uh, oh, I think you can see this, you know? Can you see this calculator? No, you can't. Okay, so here is this calculator, and I have written here this. I have divided 22 by 7. Can you see that this from 1 to 7? this from 1 to 7, this from 1 to 7, you have a recurring pattern over here for this 22 over 7. Okay. And if I uh, show you the value of pi right now, just see this, how this is, this 22 over 7 is it is a recurring decimal, but still there is a recurring pattern going on because this is a rational number. So whenever there is a rational number, it has unending or recurring decimals. The recurring decimals will always have a pattern, okay? They will always have a pattern being recurred. Now, just look at the pi's value now. See pi. Now, this pi is, do you see any recurring pattern over here, Bacho? Please tell me. It's 3.14. Now, when I was writing this for the,
No, sir.
yeah, when I was writing this for 22 over 7, that was 3.142. What was that? 3.14287142857142857. So you see, because of these first three significant figures, we say that, or maybe if you can, if you include this one, so we say that this pi is approximately equal to 22 over 7. Otherwise, you see here it is, this is the value of this 22 over 7 over here, and this is your pi. So from here, you must remember that pi is an irrational number, while 22 over 7 is a rational number. So whenever you see decimals in recurring, never say that a recurring decimal shows an irrational number. Okay, now going back to our sheet here. So irrational numbers, they are typically the square roots. Like, let me show you again this square root thing. Um, Again, look at this. If I find the square root of 2, just see what do I get? The square root of 2. Where is that square root? Yeah, this is the square root of 2. Do you see any recurring pattern over here, bacho?
No.
है ना? There is no recurring pattern. That is why square root of 2 is an irrational number. Maybe you can see the square root of 5 even. Look at this, the square root of 5. You see, there is no recurring pattern. You see the square root of 6 even. Look at this, the square root of 6. Okay. Or even you can see the cube roots, or I mean, the cube roots of non-cube numbers. You will see that they're all irrational. Anyhow, going back to this here. Okay. So irrational numbers here. Now you must be very clear that what are the irrational numbers. Okay. If someone asks you to give an example of irrational number, so you can say, give many examples: the square roots of non-square numbers, the cube roots of non-cube numbers. And these are some famous irrational numbers. Okay. Now the rational numbers, now coming back to the rational numbers. Rational numbers, they are divided into um, two major categories. Okay. What are these two major categories of the rational numbers? Yes. Hmm? These are and
Whole number.
integers and non-integers. The rational numbers are divided into the integers and they are divided into the integers and non-integers. Okay. Now let me tell you about the non-integers first, and then I'll tell you about the integers. Okay. The non-integers, they are divided into three parts here. We have fractions. Okay. We have decimals, and we have mixed numbers. I believe you know about all of them, okay? The fractions, the decimals, and the mixed numbers. Coming towards the integers. Now, integers are, let me list these integers. These are basically all the positive whole numbers and the negative whole numbers. When we say it that we have an integer, when we say that we have an integer, this does not mean that the number can be in a decimal or as a fraction. Okay, guys, integers. So remember, this term will be used a lot in your mathematics, integers. Whenever you hear the word integer, that means it's going to be a whole number. There are no decimals, no fractions, no mixed fractions, and this can be positive, this can be negative. Okay, so integers. Now these integers have many types. There are many types. I'll not be writing all of them. Okay, now I'll be writing some famous types here. Okay, first of all, the natural numbers. Does anyone know about the natural numbers?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, the natural numbers start from 1, 1, 2, and so on. These are the natural numbers. Okay, then you have the even numbers, you have the odd numbers, and even numbers start from like 2, 4, 6, 8. This is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and I would be writing like for the, again, there is a kind of number that you should be very familiar with, the prime numbers. Okay, the prime numbers. I'm writing this in a different color. You must know about the prime numbers. Prime numbers start from 2. Okay, 2, 3, 5, 7. These numbers, they have only two factors. One is itself, the other is the number 1. Okay, so you must be knowing about the prime numbers. And then you have the negative integers, and there are, like, so many different kinds of numbers, the squared numbers. Okay, the composite numbers, etc., etc. Okay, so I'm writing just etc. over here. So guys, first of all, if you go to the A level maths, or even if you do the add maths, or you do the A level further maths, you must know the real numbers. Any number, any kind of number is called the real number. The real number has two main types: rational numbers and the irrational numbers. You might get a question of 1 mark regarding this, like, irrational numbers. Okay, so irrational numbers are mainly the numbers which do not have an exact value. We can't write this as a ratio of two integers. Okay, and I also call this that we can't show such a number on a number line. That is why this is an irrational number. Okay, and then the rational numbers, they are divided into two main kinds, two main types: the non-integers and the integers. Non-integers are these fractions, these mixed numbers, and then these decimals. Okay, and when we talk about the integers, there are many different kinds of integers. The one that you must know, that is natural numbers. These start from 1. These are the numbers that we normally use in our daily life. Like, I have 2 cars, I have 5 books, etc. Okay, then you have even numbers, the odd numbers, and out of all these types of numbers, you must be knowing about the prime numbers very clearly. Okay, there is one other type of numbers, that is the composite numbers. Okay, the composite numbers is somehow opposite to the prime numbers. These numbers, they have more than two factors. Okay, like you have 4, 6, and then 8, 9, 10, and so on. Okay, if you look at this natural numbers, which number is here that I haven't listed, which is neither a prime number nor a composite number? Guys, which number is there that I haven't written here?
0.
Uh,
1.
that is 1. I haven't written 1. 1 is basically known as a unity. Okay, 1 is known as a unity. So 1 is neither a prime number nor a composite number. Please remember, 1 is not a prime number. Mostly people start the prime numbers from 1. Okay, prime numbers start from 2. So 1 is called a unity. This is neither prime nor a composite number. Okay, so you must know about all these different types of numbers so that you can excel in your mathematics. Okay,